They have some depth out there. More on that when they take the field, but their lineup's been pretty entrenched in terms of the batting order. Their top six, as dynamic as it gets. In the quarterfinal yesterday, they hit .473 with going up against the pitcher Mac Morgan today, the senior from Creighton, Missouri. Everything low, low, low.
Could call her a ground ball specialist.
What is about 90% drop balls, right?
Warm burgers. Anything that describes that ball being hit on the ground, that would be Mac Morgan. Well, they actually played Texas in the fall, and that was right around the time that Vivi Martinez got injured. So Katie Stewart was playing shortstop in that game when they played that fall game.
The other players and coaches.
Kelsey Mathis got a start in the Tennessee series. Freshman who got her first start. And it was in game 3 and ended up hitting a home run. Had a big at bat in last night's game that you guys were calling. With 2 outs, found a way on. A&M explosion after that.
Mathis, fly ball to right. Bennett on the tracks, got it.
To the Women's College World Series. So you got to believe the Aggies want a little payback here. So
win the second and the third. A&M had chances to win either one of those to advance to the World Series, but A&M held on in Austin. And then when they got to Oklahoma City, they played their way all the way through to the championship series.
Well, to think that that's a one versus
conversation starting on Sunday night, because we have the selection show, 2 hours of coverage starting at 7 Eastern Sunday night on ESPN2. The field of 64, highlighted by those top 16 seeds that get to stay home and host, and a strikeout. Kennedy gets Stewart 2 down. Both these teams likely to be top 8s.
Kennedy continues to hammer that arm side of the plate, and just really good movement on this pitch. It's got a lot of gyro curve spin on it, although we know that Emily is not throwing as many curves these days. I'm going to call it a curve.
Smitty will not let that one go.
So it does look like a curve, but what's being called is either a rise ball or a drop ball or a changeup. Those are the 3 pitches that she's throwing this year, but the look of it can 100% be like a curveball.
Yeah, and she's, you know, true lefty fashion, comes from behind her back, so it's hard to see whether or not you're right or left-handed. And when she can bend it just a little bit back over that corner, and you can see the splits.
Look at how it's changed.
Yeah, and it's changed tremendously, because Tricia Ford said you're not throwing the curveball much anymore. You're going to go more up, vertical separation, move that ball up in the zone, change speeds.
Well, when Tricia Ford came in, she took a look at her mechanics and said, you've been more of a downspin pitcher, but your mechanics and the way that your body moves should be more of an upspin pitcher. And so that's a big reason.
Earlier this evening, a stunning walk-off come from behind win for Oklahoma over Arkansas when they hit a record 6 home runs. And they were the first team, what was the stat? 0 for 80 prior to that for teams that trailed by 5 runs. Little Sooner magic. That's a rope off the bat of Kennedy Powell, and Katie Bennett's out there.
And that's a real number. That kind of sounds like an exaggeration when you're just like, yeah, just like 0 for 80. No, no, no. That's a real
0 for 80.
Yeah.
That was Powell leading off for the second inning, as all 9 came to the plate in that 6-run first.
And then continues to strike the ball well.
Coco Woolley. You talk about chaos creators around the country, and she's She's on the short list.
One of the best. Knows how to take her walks.
Ball.
But likes to swing away. Has that speed. 15 stolen bases on the year. That batting average, 385.
They are not seeing the same pitcher they did in the first inning. Cam Salmon on in relief for Mac Morgan, who only faced 6 batters. Now that's going to fall in for a base hit. Woolley on board, 2 for 2 with a walk and a single. Scored that first time up. Here's Maya Perez. Ball. Looking at a changeup.
And that's the chaos that speed like A&M can cause. I mean, just knowing that Leanne Good knows that speed is at first base with Coco Woolley. So she sees her in front of her. She's like, okay, I can't go to 2. She's too fast. I'm going to get an out here. And at least that's what's in her mind. And that's what Mitchell was thinking that she was going to go to. But that's what speed can do to defense. Just this weird feeling of unknown right now on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before we get the bracket. It's like, where's everybody going to go?
Yeah, and this is a crazy year. I think in the past you could kind of predict maybe 80, 75, 80%. This year I'm like, whew, no idea. Would love to be a fly on the wall of that room of when the committee's getting together. Hearing what's the most important, how the metrics that mean the most.
More about that foul ball than I think about my wedding a few years ago. I mean, I've gotten more people talking about that than anything else in my entire whole life.
Here's Allie Enright. It is 10-0 A&M.
But in all seriousness, I really don't think KK DeMent has gotten talked about enough, you guys. Her defense at second base with how smooth she is, that pop off of her bat. 2 home runs today, my goodness.
And you know who loves that?
13th on the year.
Tricia Ford. Yes. Because she wants the Aggies. She told us, I want a big old chip on her shoulder. You know, they're ranked #1. Their RPI's #1. Their KPI's #1. They're probably gonna be #1 in the NCAA tournament. But she just loves them playing as underdogs, playing a little angry, a little feisty. Yeah, that's how they've showed up to take on Texas tonight.
Okay, and so if you are the 1 national seed, how do you create that chip? I mean, what would be the motivation there? Nobody really thinks you should have that 1 seed. I mean, where do you go from there?
Oh,
right?
she already told us that. That's what she was going to tell them.
She'll find something. She'll find something.
Yeah, she already said, oh, trust me.
Something.
Yeah, you got it, but you don't deserve it.
Back up the middle, and a base hit for Enright.
Well, and I think, quite frankly, they've been under-talked about the whole year. They've been, you know, just chipping away, putting in work, getting big wins, no bad losses, and it's their resume when you really look at it that stands out the most with their top 25 wins and their RPI.
Yeah.
And their strength of schedule.
And their strength of schedule.
Tricia Ford is not afraid here. Mike White likes the way she is able to warm up, come into games and pressure situations.
Obviously, there's a lot of pride. There are still outs to work with, guys, but how do you even start to dig out of this hole, not just physically, but mentally? Down 10-0 to your rivals.
Yeah, it's hard. They're going to have to take it just 1 inning at a time and 1 at bat at a time against Emily Kennedy. I mean, it looked like, too, Cam Salmon was going to get things back on track. When she came in, she struck out the first 2 that she faced after the KK DeMent home run, 3 up, 3 down, and then A&M's adjustments in the 2nd inning against her.
Gutierrez facing Este with 2 outs. They sent 9 to the plate in the first. Here's the 8th to the plate in this 2nd inning. Ball.
Oh, man. Good thing she has that big hat.
Exactly.
She's got the SEC hat. She's got the big T-Mobile hat. She's got options.
Two to Mathis. Pops it up. And that'll take care of this second inning. 6 in the first, 5 in the second. All Aggies tonight. Baseball and softball in full swing. And it's mayhem. As we head towards the selection show Sunday night and then on to the NCAA tournament. This time next week, we will be playing regionals. How about that? Man. Here's Katie Simmons leading the way for Texas. 7, 8, and 9. So Emily Kennedy does come back out there with the big lead in the to start out here in the third. If you keep her pitch count down, could come back and throw again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oklahoma awaits in the championship. Oh, and Mac Barbara's got it.
That was a great job by Mac Barbara not to give up on that ball. Sometimes when they're hit high, you think, oh, they're just going over the net. But here at the Jackets, it's open behind. There's no hangover.
Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Mac Barbara is new behind the plate. There was an injury in the Aggies lineup, and so they have called on her to come in and catch in the last couple of weeks. And she had not caught in a game since May of 2023. She said the reason that Texas A&M and Tricia Ford knew she could get behind the dish is they actually played San Diego State when she was a catcher, and they saw her behind the plate. So when that injury happened, they came to her and said, hey, we know you can do this. She was a little reluctant, but she's done a nice job back there.
Really nice job. Well, and it gives them a better offensive lineup as well. With her back behind the plate, they can move Amari Harper from right field to first base. It just gives them a few more options offensively.
Here's Shailene Brister pinch hitting. In the 8th spot in the order.
Well, and one thing I was thinking, Michelle, is that A&M has changed out their catcher really all throughout the year. They've used a lot of different catchers back there, from Dee Dee Baldwin to Olivia Johnson to Grayson Coleman, and then now Mac Barbara. And for the impact on Emily Kennedy, I mean, I always like throwing to the same catcher over and over and over again. And I asked Emily Kennedy if that messed with her at all, and she said she doesn't mind it. She's just so calm, cool, collected about stuff like that. Like, it does not bug her at all. But I was a pitcher that liked the same catcher. How were you?
I was the same. I had my catcher I threw to, and you know, back in the day there was usually only one person that was willing to volunteer to catch. So
I loved my dad catching me when I was younger, and then when a different dad or somebody else had to catch me, I was always so bummed. I didn't feel like I pitched my best. So it really can have an impact on a pitcher and just their comfortability level.
well, the way they move, the way they hold their glove.
Special relationship.
The way they receive.
Karen Johns up here.
Yeah.
She's one of my first catchers.
The way they pamper you pitchers all the time. There's a circle around you for a reason.
That's right.
I thought that was a crown down there. Or a halo.
Halo. Halo, probably.
Just feel like that.
72 miles an hour. That looked good.
And I feel like that pitch has been called. I don't feel like the strike zone has been very consistent in this game at all.
Full count. Brister lofts that one out to right. Let's go back to Holly.
I was just able to check up on that rule with the fan who was putting the hat over the wall. That could have been called interference. I've been told the stands belong to the fans, the field belongs to the player. If the hat is over the wall, that could have been interference. It is a reviewable play, but given the score, they think the coaches just decided not to review it.
Thank you, Holly. It's not very often that the fans are that close and have access to reach over the wall.
Well, it's still interesting. How do you rule? And which team do you rule for? Do you rule that it was a home run that could have left the yard, or do you rule for the defense that potentially could have made the catch? I guess that's where they review it and say, oh, it's subjective. Then maybe she could have made the catch, or no, that was leaving the yard.
But it didn't look like it was going to go out, so it was probably ground rule double or catch, and then that's up to the SEC review folks. There's Katie Bennett.
Maybe just looking at, does it prevent the opportunity to make a catch? Maybe looking at it that way.
Yeah. On the playground, that's a do-over. I don't know how you. That's how we worked it as kids.
It's a repitch.
It's a repitch.
Absolutely.
Ground ball to second. Opportunities for their pitchers, to use this kind of tournament and this kind of competition.
Texas A&M is challenged in the ruling. Plays under further review.
It's close. I think that one will stand.
Yeah. Ruling on the field is out.
Another one, close one last night with Coco just getting the front of the bag. I think this one will stand.
Yeah, it's got to be.
After review, the play at first base has changed. The runner is safe.
Wow.
This is Texas A&M's first challenge of the game.
Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Tricia Ford calls her the most dynamic player she's ever coached. I don't have her base-to-base time. She doesn't know what I've asked her, but she said her 20-yard dash time in the weight room is 2.6, 2.7. She is wildly fast, ladies, and you can see the pressure that puts on you when you're trying to make the defensive play.
So she's on base for the third time tonight, Holly. And here comes Perez with a runner on. Here it is in regular speed.
Just so fast, that turnover rate. And it's interesting too, because when she slaps and comes through the box, she almost pauses. Like, there are some slappers that are still like really in motion. She almost has this little pause while she's swinging, and then she still gets going. It's pretty impressive.
Down and in.
I mean, it's her speed home to first is super fast, but it's this instinctual part about her with the way that she runs bases and takes extra bases to see where the ball is, the angle, knowing the defender's arm strength as well, and having a good gauge on that. When she can fly, when she gets going, my goodness.
And Perez walks on 4 pitches. Hey, Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the SEC softball tournament behind the scenes all day today and the championship tomorrow, and then they'll put it together for you on the SEC Network and the ESPN app Wednesday nights. Pinch runner at first for the Aggies. Scout level. And here comes Barber for the 3rd time.
Well, speaking of base running, I feel like A&M has been a team started to be known for their base running and taking extra bases, and it's something that they work on at practice every day. They even watch film on base running, their own film, and then also film of other teams.
Well, that's how you get better. You learn what you're doing right or wrong, and then you look at what other people doing right and try to implement it.
Self-scout.
And they'll even do a special teams player of the week. So that could be a pinch hitter, a base runner, just a special teams player of the week that they'll award. Again, putting that emphasis on different type of role, especially as a pinch runner, like one that just came in at scout level at first base.
Searching for the drive to advance your career?
Most runs scored in a single SEC tournament, and A&M has a couple more at-bats tonight. Looks like they'll be playing tomorrow. As it stands, it's the biggest win in SEC tournament history. And here's Sophia Simpson. Fourth different pitcher tonight. So yesterday it was 12 runs in a run rule win, and already 14 tonight in what is shaping up to be a run rule win.
Well, again, their last game against Tennessee, they scored 13. So it's 13, 12, and now 14. It's just a lot.
Is that 39?
Are you doing math again?
Well, that's why I was quiet for so long. I was counting in my head. Carry the 2.
Wait, I think you're right. You got it.
Simpson's the senior. Bellevue, Texas, in for a strike. And a strikeout. That'll end the inning. 3 more. Match them against the top 25. And may just come down to the head-to-head tomorrow.
The reason for everything. I mean, obviously it's not just, oh, I forgot to even think about it. So I just, just kept doing what we were doing.
Or it could be big picture and some of the younger arms, other arms, an opportunity to potentially start that game. If A&M gets a lead, would you see Kennedy? Maybe, a lot of different ways you think, especially if you're looking long-term to Oklahoma City.
And she's pitching well. Maybe just Reese Atwood.
I'll bring up Katie Stewart, a strikeout victim her first time up. Being 2. One to Stewart with 1 out. Fouls another one off.
Katie Stewart struck out on a curveball / rise ball in the outer half.
Been exploding this year in general.
Oh, swing and a miss. 1 and 2. Frankie was really good in their Arkansas series this year. Went 4 for 6. Aggies added 9 freshmen. 2 down.
She came in when Amari Harper got hurt earlier in the year. It was a spark plug for their offense.
Due up in the 5th, which might be the last chance for Texas. They're 8, 9, and 1 slots. Otherwise, the Aggies will run rule them and move on to the SEC championship and a date with Oklahoma Those two did not see each other in the regular season.
Well, Sam Landry should be obviously fresh. He did not throw today for Oklahoma.
That would be a matchup of former national champions.
Right.
8 for Oklahoma, 2 NCAA titles for A&M. They've also got an AIAW championship from the days before the NCAA in the 70s and early 80s. One-two to Mathis from Sophia Simpson. Well, they won a conference championship in 2008 in the Big 12. That's also the last time they hosted a super. They will be